Mute. I am on mute. You know, this whole training and then swapping to a live stream thing, I need to do better, okay? Because I'm like, I'll put it on mute for different things. So we'll start here. Welcome everyone to the Friday Live. My name is Diana Gladney. I'm your hostess with the mostest, coming to you on another one of our Friday live streams. So I'm super pumped, pleased, and excited to be here with you, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. I appreciate your time, your attention, and spending just a smidgen of time with me. These are one of what I call quick live streams, which ever since I've said that, it's never quick. It never is quick. So, I mean, it is what it is. I do what I can. When it comes to trying to be quick, it never happens. It's like at least 2 hours. So I said quick on the community tab. We'll see what that looks like, because we got a few updates, a few things. And also, if you guys have questions, make sure you put a, you do like a Q colon or hashtag Q, whatever. It just needs some kind of a something to know that it's a question. But if you've been around here for quite some time, you know we do pretty good when it comes to answering said questions on the channel. So I'm really excited. A few updates that I'm very, very interested to discuss with you, specifically around Canon cameras, and then some Sony camera updates and some things of the like. Just to go ahead and address the elephant in the room, because I know everybody's wondering, especially after the community post. We have the behemoth, the A7 IV, the 70-200 with, this is the G Master Mark II, optical steady shot in the inside. Fantastic lens. If you met me at and saw me at Social Media Marketing World 2022, you saw this behemoth of a lens. But instead of the A7C that I was testing out at that time, which honestly, my general synopsis of that is just a full frame A6600. Soup to nuts, a full frame A6600, which I've had occasion to use it before. But, you know, I kind of want it just because the ZV-1 and the ZV-10 body style spoiled me. I'm spoiled. But this A7 IV, this thing right here, first of all, let's take this off, because ain't nobody weightlifting on a live stream today. Ain't about that life. This thing right here, she's a beauty. The grip is about 2 inches, which is a lot if you are not used to this kind of this and his. And some of you thought this was the A7 III, A7S Mark III. It's not. This is the A7 IV, and it is great. It's just a little bit heavier than what I'm used to dealing with. And I will never say, let me go on record, I will never say the A6600 is heavy ever again in life. I'll never say that, because that is truly what heavy is. The A1 also is very heavy. A7 III, same weight. So just wanted to throw that out there. All right, what's going on, Angela? Good to see you. Mr. Camera Junkie in the building. Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Let's bring this down a smidge. MGN Media, hello. Good to see you. Good to see you as well. Glad that you are here. All right, so couple pieces of news, which I'm not necessarily happy about, in the sense in you know, I'm happy about it, but at the same time, it's bittersweet. I'll say that much. My prediction, when I think I did this video about 2019, maybe could have been, I don't think it was 2020. I think it was like 2019, somewhere around that era. You could, if you're in the industry, you're watching, many of you are just users of the brand, and I get that and I respect that. This being my space, a space that I teach from and teach a lot around, I was very, very curious of what's going to become of a lot of these brands' APS-C model, with the exception of Fuji, because Fuji runs with APS-C, eventually came out with medium format, and those are their only 2 lanes. They're not playing in the full frame game. A7 III came out, everybody's like, we got to have a camera, even Panasonic. So that being the case, and watching where things are, APS-C is where a lot of people get started. It's one of my favorite sensor sizes. And it's fantastic. It has a lot of the great things that you need when you're first getting started in video. However, you're not always going to have the best of the best with honors like you would in something like an A7 IV or even its predecessor, the A7 III at the time. So it's always been that hit or miss. What are you going to get? What are you not? And Canon always did the worst job, in my opinion, next to Nikon, when it came to giving their users something. And so I love the APS-C line, the M50 line, as you all know. I did a ton of videos, crap ton of videos on that camera, but not just that one, but a lot of the other ones that I owned as well. However, that 2019 prediction is coming to pass when, unfortunately, piece of news here is the EFM line is going to be discontinued. So the M6 Mark II being discontinued, which I think this came out around 2019 or so. I don't know the exact date, but you can Google that when the launch date came out. And so this is on Canon Rumors, which does a good job of kind of aggregating some of this stuff and even getting some tidbits here or there. I've been following for some years. So again, it's not an official word from Canon, but they never release an official word except for the fact that they're leaving DSLRs alone completely. So it's unfortunate and I don't like it. However, this was coming. You could see this coming, honestly, a little bit of a mile away for quite some time, unfortunately. And that's why I left when I did. The M50 was the last hurrah. When it came to sight on the camera, I know some of y'all didn't like that, and that's when you saw the transition in 2019 for myself personally to Sony, and then we started teaching from the Sony cameras. And that is why you have seen me profess the greatness of the ZV-E10, because you would have to go into that 2K price range before you got a fraction of some of the things that the ZV-E10 has. Unfortunately, the global chip shortage has interrupted that along with a lot of things. And it's not just Sony cameras. It's not just that thing. If you're anywhere in the tech space, even like with some audio processing and audio chip kind of things, like the global chip shortage thing is impacting a lot of stuff, not just cameras. And Sony, for as much as people like those cameras, the demand is very high already for those cameras. And now the global chip shortage is why you can't really find any. If you're looking for cameras, I've talked about this ad nauseum, I think, to some extent, of where you can find some at used, and try to do a good job of sending out alerts and updates of, hey, saw this one over here, you might want to grab it, and then it's gone. So that's the thing. Say hello real quick to a couple more people saying, wow, that's a big setup. It feels better than you think. This right here, and surprisingly, the 70-200, it's surprisingly, it's not that big. It's, you know what I'm saying? It seems like it, but even with the A7C, and I even put that on the ZV-E10, which I showed photos the last time that we did a live stream on the channel. So yeah, we talked about that, but it evens out with the way that you use the lens. It evens out, and the footage on it, crisp. You all will get more details and data and stuff about that later. We'll talk about that a little bit later. What is up, Gordon? Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Saying, well, that's my 16mm Sigma. I need to sell them quick then. So that's the thing I kind of want to address, because I love to be upfront with you all in the sense of this where things are with the market, so you aren't left honestly holding the bag. I think I'll probably do a short around this as well, because when you look at a place like B&H, a lot of people are concerned with where do I sell my stuff. So you can go to B&H Photo Video. I like to go to places that give me instant, what do you call them? Instant quotes, instant quotes when it comes to what is this going to cost for me to send it to you? What am I going to be paid if I sell this? Obviously, if you're looking to sell your stuff, because this is the time that you would probably want to start either making a decision, I would say one or two things I would advise you on. If you're in the Canon M50 EFM, Canon M6 Mark II space, this does not mean, let me throw this clarify. This does not mean you need to get rid of your camera. That's not what that means. What it does mean, though, is that you can expect really no additional cameras to come out for that line and no additional lenses to come out for that line. Are you screwed because of that? No. There's a ton of DSLR lenses that are really neat. There's a ton of, like, you can't adapt up to like the RF line where you see the EOS R, EOS R3, R6 and R5 Canon cameras. you're not going to be able to adapt to that. It'd have to be a third-party company that makes something to make that work. Currently, you can't go anywhere. You have the adapters and like the Viltrox solutions to use DSLR lenses, but unfortunately you can't. But you do have a wide variety. I think you're still going to be very well served if you choose to stay, because the goal is not to keep buying a new camera every year. Just because us creators and us entrepreneurs that teach video are doing that, it's for the person that's just getting started today, and maybe the person that's starting to hit the ceiling with something that they bought a couple years ago. But that's not to say that your camera that you just bought is now trash or something like that, right? So, and I think you all that's been around the channel long enough and you spend enough time here, you've been on the live streams, you do the live streams every single week. Like, you spent enough time with the brand here to know, like, I'm gonna give it to you straight. So it doesn't mean that your camera's bad. It just means don't expect any updates to that system to where they say, hey, we're gonna throw in all kinds of new features in a firmware update. It's probably not gonna happen. I would love to be wrong in these categories, but just telling you for historically what's happened. Number two, you're not gonna see any new lenses. It's been a really long time since we've seen any new lenses from that EFM lineup. That doesn't mean that what you have is bad. It just would have to be a third-party brand like a Sigma to make additional stuff. And them making the Sigma 16 span of things honestly helped a whole lot of people. So I'm grateful that they did that. Now, what does that mean for those of you that maybe are ready? Now, I would say it's important to start making a decision as to whether or not you're ready to explore moving into the RF line, the Canon EOS, not the EOS R or the RP, but they're going to be releasing a couple other things. So there's a couple other rumors. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. But there is a rumor right now, and I'll keep you all updated on this. It's a rumor right now on what's called the Canon R7. And just honestly, where the Canon lineup is, you can expect to probably migrate up if you want to, with a $2,000 or less body. They're probably going to do like a new $1,000 camera, something to replace the R and RP cameras, and probably a new $2,000 to $2,500 camera, because the stuff that they have right now is taking you into the $3,000 and $4,000 and $5,000 range, which is not where most people get started at with cameras. So they have to replace this. So what you can expect, here's the rumors of what this camera would look like. It's a 32.5 megapixel sensor, APS-C, dual pixel CMOS autofocus, all the stuff that you got in the M6 Mark II right now. 15 to 30 frames per second. That's like when you're talking about photos. It's going to have 2 card slots, which I think will be really neat. UHS 2, 4K 60, and it's saying NTSC PAL. I'm not going to get into that. I think we've talked about that enough. 1080p, 120 frames per second. Finally, C-Log 3, finally. In-body image stabilization, fantastic. June, July of this year. So maybe in a couple months, we'll be doing another live stream discussing the released features of what this expectation would be. A camera like this could be anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500, maybe $27 if they feeling froggy. But I think realistically, US dollars, you can expect this to be in a $2,000 to $2,500 price range. Now, because before you even finish typing, you may be saying to yourself, but Diana, I only spent $1,000 on my M6 Mark II or something like that. What about something else? Hold your horses, all right? Stop typing so fast, calm down, and take a sip of coffee. You're gonna be all right. I'm gonna take care of you. So the next thing that they're looking at is what's called the R10. Just in case you're not familiar with Canon, the lower the number is, or not the lower, the bigger the number is, the lower it is in the tier. So the M50, 50 being the bigger number, is different than the M6, and so the higher the number is, the better it is. The lower the number, the better it is in the lineup. The higher the number, the more budget-friendly, beginner-esque is kind of gonna go. So if they come out with an R10, that is likely gonna be either a budget APS-C lineup or maybe a budget full frame replacement. Here's what some of the rumors are talking about with this, that the R10 is assumed to be an APS-C camera. So this is probably going to replace your M6 or M50s. Again, I stress, do you need to upgrade at this point? No. Are you going to want to? Yeah, because you're watching all the YouTube videos anyway. And all videos make every camera look amazing. But I would encourage you that when you start to look, and these are some RF lenses that will fit that body, an 18-45 kit lens, an 18-105 kit lens here, likely to be announced May 24th. So we'll see in about 10, 11 days time frame if this is legit, or not. My expectation with these cameras, it may not for real feature wise, just because Canon they've not been historically one to give you a lot of features, but it may be good to stick with what you're comfortable with, potentially. However, that being said, and especially right now, a lot of people are kind of like, I need a camera today. Let's slow down. Let's slow down to speed up a little bit. What are you creating with right now? I'm curious. Put it in the chat. What are you actually creating with right now? What's the main camera you use most of the time? Just put it in the chat. I'm curious what that is. If you're already with the Sony squad, you're good. Are there probably going to be like an update, or are there probably going to be updates around the ZV-E10? Not for real. Maybe the ZV-1 or something. Not for real. Potentially, maybe not for real. But I did want to come and bring the announcement of, don't get nervous if you start seeing those Canon cameras not become available. It wouldn't be due to the global chip shortage kind of a thing. It would be more so they're kind of like slowing production on that to start putting out whatever. Now they'll let you buy whatever. They're not going to make an official announcement. They never do. They never do. So it's a plenty of cameras that just don't have no discontinuing. You just see is maybe not being made as much, and then what you do find, meh, So, but I mean, hopefully there's something coming around a few Sony cameras. I can see potentially an update to the what is the camera, A7C. I can potentially see an update to the A7C when it comes to that. But is it going to be more than what's in this camera right here? I'm taking this lens off because this is heavy. Now, the A7 IV is a freaking fantastic camera. I've really enjoyed it. However, I did that poll on the community tab asking you which camera from the two images, which one was the A7 IV and which one was the ZV-E10. And I can firmly tell you, most of you on all the platforms that I shared it on, most people got that so wrong. So wrong. And here's the thing, more experienced, not just like beginners or whatever, most experienced people got it wrong. So don't think that what you have isn't already good and can look good or powerful or whatever. People are like, well, what lens? Well, what about the lights in? I need to see more depth in. It's like, not really. So if you click on the photo on the community tab, it's like, not really. It's like you can see the full width photo. It's a 16:9. It wasn't a 1:1 crop. It was 16:9. Let me see if I can pull that up on the community tab real quick. Most people got it wrong. So your camera is sufficient. It is good. The only difference between one camera and then another like this, which again, Bee's Knees Hall of Fame, definitely makes the Bee's Knees Hall of Fame when it comes to this camera. But if you don't know what you're doing with it, it won't matter. But you can still get good equivalent quality out of it. But you do, if you are maybe hiring somebody, maybe a videographer or someone or something like that, then at that point, we'll see. We'll see. Let me pull this up real quick for the comments saying I love my Canon SL3, but I mainly use my Sony because it is so small. I understand. What's up, Jace? Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Cut this music down just a smidgen. Saying I finally figured out the settings on my ZV-1 for indoor filming where it won't make my skin orange. The biggest thing with that, white balance. Set your white balance. Playing around with color grading stuff and all that is great. White balance is going to be your first thing to do, when it comes to that kind of stuff. Otherwise, it ain't gonna help you. It's not gonna help you for settings and stuff like that. You gotta know how to set the white balance. Otherwise, it just kind of, everything gets wonky from there. Oh, my bad. I scrolled past quite a few. Alrighty. Love your videos. Really helpful. Why, thank you, Hank Stone Music. Appreciate that. Gordon, I believe I said hello, but just in case, saying hello again. Saying I landed a ZV-E10 for Christmas and want to start making better quality music videos. Could you recommend a good lighting or good lighting for filming? Yeah, so when it comes to lighting, and we can just dive into Q&A past this point. I just wanted to give you all news updates at the beginning. So if you have questions, put either like hashtag QA or Q colon, so I know that you have a question. But I'm trying to go through all these comments real quick because we don't have a ton and I don't want to stay on for forever. But if you have questions, it doesn't have to necessarily be related to the camera stuff that I talked about early, but just let me know. So when you're talking about like creating a lighting setup for filming, one thing I would say watch for and to stay away from is just buying whatever you see somebody using. Really think about the environment of the space. How close are you going to be to the lights? Maybe if you plan to mount them someplace or something like that. Because if there's going to be quite a bit of distance, you need a light that has good throw. And maybe it's far enough away that you got some level of diffusion between the distance of the light and yourself. If you're going to be real close, small space or something like that, LED light panel sets are good. I think if you go to diana.link/lights, diana.link/lights, you'll see the Viltrox VL200 kit that I use. And I use the D Fuse, which is D, just the letter D dash FUSE Fuse, pop-up softbox lights, just because they're portable and it's small. The throw is good and it's not super harsh lighting, but as you can see, I'm very well lit. So with that, that's good in a small environment. However, you do have what's called cob, which is like chip on board, I believe, where you see like the little square yellow thing. And I do have some lights coming. The shipping got screwed up, but we do have a different lighting set coming in that's similar to the Aperture 120D type things. Those are good when you really need to send that light quite a bit of distance, or you need it to do a little bit or a multifaceted job from up close to maybe further away. So if you have a music store or music studio or something like that, are your ceilings vaulted or will they be closer down? So it really depends on what you're doing. If it's just like small kind of at-home setup or something of the like, then you can consider something like the Viltrox VL200, or you can consider something similar to, not necessarily exactly, but similar to like the Aperture 120D, where it's like the chip on board type of lighting setup. The difference with those though is they have a fan, and so they can be loud. So that's why I said it depends on your environment, where you're recording at. You're gonna have a big old power brick. It's a whole different experience, if you will, from that LED lighting panel or like a chip on board type set. But I'll be able to show you the two once the actual package gets routed, thanks courtesy to UPS of screwing that up. Otherwise, we would have had the video already by now. So that's the thing. David Kennedy III, appreciate you being here. And MGM saying, thank you, probably appreciate your views. My pleasure, glad to be of service. Jason, I think I said hello. Jade Cruz, good to see you, glad that you're here. Where's the best place to learn Final Cut Pro? A particular channel, or is there an online course? I mean, like I said, I have some videos on the channel on Final Cut, but it's not like an overall course. I think here's the thing. Like you have to just use it. You need a video to actually use it with, because an overall course of the getting started, yes. And like I said, it literally was doing, we just finished the editing part of it. So it'll take that video a minute to get edited because it's quite a bit. But it's like how to plan, record, and edit a YouTube video. So the planning, the recording, and the editing side is different. And we went from when you're just entering into YouTube. But that video is going to be a beast. So it will take a minute for that to come out. It may be another week, it may be another 2 weeks before that particular video comes out, but it's recorded and done. But it takes you into what are you looking at when you're looking at Final Cut Pro. However, just a channel on it or even watching an exhaustive tutorial does no good if you have no actual true footage to actually take into there and start editing with. So it's always fantastic to learn. There's no one specific channel that I honestly, I still watch tutorials on learning more about Final Cut Pro. Even my buddy Doc Rock, who you all have seen on the channel a lot, is the Ecamm community manager. He was showing me some stuff audio wise that's in Final Cut that I had no clue. So, but the thing is though, you need a actual true real video that you need to edit. And now you need to start thinking about, when I take this into editing, how do I bring the footage in? Easy answer, drag and drop. Is there a more organized way to do things? Yeah, but if it's just like one clip, bringing it in, or 2 or 3 clips, you can just drag and drop that in. Now, number 2, what are the most basic common functions that you would need or use? How to chop the sides off of a piece or take a gap out, adjust the audio levels, which just adjusting the bar or something like that. You have now the voice isolation feature, which we have a video coming on that. But past that, the basic functions of an edit, slapping a transition on there, maybe adding a title or lower third where possible. But the most common problem that I honestly see people run into when it comes into editing, you're trying to do 30,000 things on one video and you just open this program for the first time. Give yourself some grace and give yourself some time to learn the program. So you may be on a 30, 60, 90-day trial. I don't know what they do anymore. It's usually at base, I think like a 30-day trial with Final Cut. But when you get the program, the basic things are going to be cutting a video, how to adjust the audio levels, and maybe add on a title and a transition. Those are the common basic functions. And it's like, how efficiently can you just perform those things repetitively so you don't have to go search for what's the button for this or what do I do to do this. I even have a video on the channel. If there's any moderators in it, you'll probably find that video for you on what's the best shortcuts or some of my favorite shortcuts and how to optimize those for Final Cut Pro. So that there's editing playlist on there. And even I show you a behind the scenes process of me editing a video in real time on a live stream. I needed to edit a video anyway one night and I say, well, why don't I just go live and do that? So that's here on the channel. But I don't think it's healthy and I don't think it's a good move to go watch 10, 15, 20 different Final Cut Pro tutorials all at once. And you don't have anything to edit with and all that stuff just looks cool, looks simple enough, but actually have something to apply it to. Or if you want to know how to do something specific like keyframe, I want something to drop down, come back in and then go off to the right of the screen. Now we got something to teach, like how to actually keyframe. So that is one video or one tutorial video that you would watch and search for how to do that, which I guess it would be healthy to have that tutorial on the channel. It's super easy. But now it's like, okay, if I'm going to do that, that's the only one thing new that I'm adding to my edited video. I'm not adding 3 or 4 different things. I'm only doing one new thing maybe per video so that I'm adding skills instead of creating a list of demands that I need to do in the video. Let's just do basics first. And then let's add on and progressively learn. It's always about taking those daily progressive steps and being in the editor more than once a month. I know batch recording is something that's prized and highly talked about and praised. I even talk about it. But if you're bad at recording one video, you're going to be bad at batch recording a ton of videos. So let's get one video right, or as close to right as possible. And then let's improve upon that. What do we need to work on right now? Is it audio? Is it lighting? Do we just need to get in the habit of progressively recording, getting a little bit better at how we record content to make sure we post every week? So those are some of my top of mind tips. Let me put this lens cap on this thing for this lens real quick. But yeah, that's what I would say for that. I don't have any specific channels or nothing like that because it's always going to be one skill at a time, one specific goal at a time. What's one thing? What's one new thing I want to do in this training? What's one new thing? Not 10, not 3, or I need to do this. No, one new thing. So that's what I would suggest for that. What's up, Kevin Cox? Good to see you. Lumix G7 in the building. I don't think Panasonic knew what was happening when they was going to drop that camera. Still hanging in there. iPhone 13. Love looks like. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. iPhone 13. That's nice. A6000 in the building. What's up, Caleb Hodges joining. Canon is stopping the M series. Yes, sir. And so here's the thing. Like I said, they're not going to make the announcement on that, but it's okay. Because it doesn't mean that your camera is bad. It just means you can likely expect not to stop seeing any firmware updates as far as like bug fixes or things like that. But unfortunately, it just means you're not going to see any new cameras like that for real. They're not going to be putting real emphasis on that. But they honestly said that when they came out with the R line, and why they put such a heavier emphasis on the RF lenses first versus the camera bodies initially. So that's why the R and RP were kind of underwhelming, if that's a word, instead of overwhelming. So yeah. So I also use rarely my M50 with my A6400. The Canon is straight USB to eCam. Sony is using the cam link. Gotcha. Yeah. I saw B&H where ZVN10 is in stocks. Shut up. Let's go to the bndh.com. Every time I send this email out, if you all are part of the email community on my website, dianagladney.com, anytime that I see this stuff and it's available, 2 hours later, somebody be like, is the link broke? I don't see it. And I'm like, they sold out now. Let's see what B&H photo to the videos. Shut your mouth. This is a good day to go live. The ZVE10 is in stock. So this is the black one with the kit lens. And again, how you know? Because this, as up to yesterday, I know I was checking this stuff. So this one is in stock, but the other one is still temporarily out of stock. And then even when you said request assistance on it, it's like, dude, the market, you get this message here. So email going to come out about this 16 or 7350. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, okay, body only. It is out of stock as well for that. And then, okay, we in there like swimwear. Okay, so you can get the white one, body only, and with the 10 to 18. Okay, cool. And then the 18 to 105. Fantastic. Even with the 16 f2.8 lens. Okay, so somebody got a shipment in a batch from someplace, and it's a little bit later in the day, so yeah, I got time. If you've been looking and searching and not finding, today is the day. So I thank you for sharing that, because it's frustrating, I know, for a lot of people, like, to try to find this camera. Couldn't find it. Like, it was, and then too, I hate when this happens, it's the price gouging. Sucks, because people get ripped off and they're like buying a $600 camera for $1,800, $1,900, and I'm like, why? But people will do. Shady people are always shady people, no matter where you at. So let me see here, because usually the way that you'll be able to keep up with this, for those that are following me, it's like you go to diana.link/whatever the thing is that I'm recommending, and then you'll find it. But I'm gonna search Amazon real quick and see if they have them, because they usually will be neck and neck sometimes, and just see if we can find one in stock. But usually ZV1, you can usually find that one just about. Nope. GX85, it's a good camera. Missed that. I miss my Panasonic cameras. 64. Oh man, it's hard out here in these streets. So B&H is the place to be. Probably Adorama as well. I'll update the links across the different webs and whatnot. And then, yeah, but thank you so much for sharing that, Jace. I really appreciate that. $2,000 for the R7. I would not pay that. The R10, don't think I'd like that. Well, a lot of people would. I understand where you're coming from, but a lot of people would. It's just $2,000, honestly. If the features are right, is an easy price for people that are using it. It's one thing if, like you're just getting started and like you don't know, which I know is not the case here, but if you're just getting started, for that person and they're just getting into cameras, they don't know what is expensive or cheap in the camera space. So don't get me wrong, I was there same day when I was first getting started. $2,000, 2,500, you like, holy hell. Even if it ain't nothing to sneeze at, you know, but it is where you find like some of the sweet spot of the best features. But again, that's why I strongly pushed the ZV-E10 when it came out, because you don't see headphone ports. You don't even see, like with the Sony Catalyst browser, digital stabilization, both of them being in there. Product showcase mode, all of these different things that are newer features that were coming out, that stuff goes to a camera like this. You don't see that, you know, below the price point at that point. So that's why I was like, all right, y'all. But that's dope. I'm very excited to see that, and happy for those that need a camera and looking for one and can get one. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, Caleb, I've seen you, I think, say this before. If there was a camera back, he just would not have used Canon cameras. He wouldn't. You know why? Because Sony A1, okay? The Alpha, the Omega A1, okay? Started with the Alpha A1, okay? Read your Bibles, okay? It says Sony in there. No, just kidding. Hashtag QA. Does your Sony A7 IV get really warm when navigating the menus? I mean, honestly, I've not tried a camera that kind of like stay cold as you're using it for long periods of time. And there's not like where I've tried it for an hour and then it's just like, oh man, hell, this is really hot kind of a thing. The only thing that I've noticed is I don't see an overheating sign or nothing like, but I haven't like, it's really hard to stress test a camera like this. I did 4K. I did 4K, the highest frame rate, 422 10-bit. On there, I think I did S-Log2 that we ran that with. I didn't get an overheating symbol or I didn't notice where, you know, that's the thing. But it is natural for your camera to get warm. Hell, we're humans. We start moving too much, be out in the heat, you will get hot. Things made by humans work the same way. You'd have to go into like a cinema, even a cinema camera. If you've ever had the opportunity, get into a cinema camera or touch one or operate one, those get warm, even with fans built in. So it's normal and natural, but it's not that the camera just won't get warm. Any camera, honestly. Now, if it's really hot to the touch, you like, man, that's kind of, and I've talked about that with adapters, like it wasn't the CalDigit TS3, that's what I use right now. It was those other ones that I used before, those different docks and all of that. So plugging Ethernet in, you're doing all these different things. Those you touch and it's like, gosh, dog, this mug is hot. And it's like, you know what? This is not right. You're going to burn my desk. Send those back. CalDigit works fine. So, but yeah, any kind of electronics, honestly, best well ventilated. I keep the house very cold because of the electronics. It's still going to get warm. So I've not found where it's like, this is concerningly hot or something like that. So just something to consider there. Let's see, saying I'm excited about the RF APS-C lineup. It makes so much sense for them, like Sony. Canon users will feel more confident investing in the lenses. That's very true. Migs, good to see you. Glad that you're here. So I'm looking to grab a white one with my Crane M3 gimbal. That'd be sweet. Love my black one, but want a second one for the studio. Yeah, now's a good time if you wanted that second camera to do that. I'll send an email out to the community so that you all have the links for that. If I'm gonna look around and see if I can find some anywhere else. For a couple other camera stores and stuff like that. In addition to that, I do not know how to pronounce your name, but Diana, hey, I used the 16 to 50 at 16. The Sigma 16 gives me more quality at broadcasting. So yes, you will get better quality from the Sigma 16 lens versus the 16 to 50 kit lens. And the reason for that is the glass elements inside of it. I don't have... I don't know where that camera even is at right now. got quite a few around here, but yeah, where is my camera at? Sorry, but so about that, yes, the lens elements or the glass elements inside the 16 to 50 kit lens are not as good in the sense of it being as sharp, high quality as the Sigma 16, and you will also get a background blur, so you see how. Like I got the fairy lights and they kind of have that glow to them and all of that looks nice and creamy behind me. that comes with having what's called a low aperture. And so that means that that F number that you'll see on the front of your screen and on the front of the lens, you'll see where it says F such and such, such and such. Because of that, you know what? I got time today. I'm done with my meetings for today. So we'll spend a little time here. Give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail and I can actually show you on screen what that looks like. Okay, I want to go to HDMI and I will show you what that looks like for the icons on the screen. Did I take it off of this one? No. Okay. All right, HDMI info on. All right, so now you can see exactly what I'm seeing on my camera. When you have this number, this and hisn, this f1.8 number is what's called the aperture. This number here is not a camera-based thing, it's a lens-based thing. And the lower this number is, the blurrier the background becomes, as well as the brighter the image becomes as well. So because this number on the Sigma 16 can get down to f1.4, then you'll have a blurry background. This number on the kit lens only goes to f3.5 at the lowest. So it doesn't have as good of lens quality and glass elements and things like that in the camera. So it's going to look way better. So if you are broadcasting and you do want, like I'm doing today, and you do want a blurry background, you would need a better lens, hence the Sigma 16 lens, which is why you would want to do that. And so I've talked about this. I've done actually an exhaustive video going through how to get good settings so that it looks normal and natural in your videos. I've done live streams where we've done just this and break this down completely and all of that. So a lot of those videos are on the channel if you want to check those out as well. But yes, so that way you're aware of what's what. I don't want to play thing. I hit the wrong button. All right. And settings in real time. Actually, I don't want to change that. I want to turn it back off and voila, we are back. Alrighty, so let's see here. So hopefully that helps you out. Sorry, ZV-10, it's the same. So the ZV-E10 is a camera. The 16-50 is the kit lens. It's fine if you get it with the kit lens. It's not going to hurt anything, but you do want to invest in better lenses when you want to showcase better quality. I'll put it that way on your camera. Using the Canon M6 Mark II, do not be discouraged. Griselda, don't be discouraged at all. And that's the thing, your camera is not bad. Just because new things come out, or Sony could decide the same thing. Let's just be real. Sony literally could decide the same thing and say, you know what? We actually want to bring everybody to full frame. And so we're not coming out with any more APS-C cameras. They held off on the A6400 when that came off. So the number schemes is out of order, but the A6500, it was getting long in the tooth. And so everybody like, are we getting new APS-C cameras, or do we need to get A7 IIIs, or tell us what to do? Cool thing is, doesn't matter what you decide, the lenses work on either, which is the cool thing with Sony. So you don't have to worry about my lens isn't good anymore. That's the only thing with Canon I don't like. Honestly, I wish they would fix that, because it's not fair. In my opinion, it's not fair. But just because new cameras come out does not mean your existing camera is bad. Do not feel that way. Your content is still the most important part of the equation. I watch channels that record with GoPros only. I watch channels that record with smartphones only. I watch channels that record with legit cinema cameras. I don't subscribe to them because of the camera that they use and or what brand that they use. I subscribe to them because I enjoy the person and I enjoy the content that that person is making. So you are always going to be more important than the type of gear that you are using. So never lose sight of that. When it comes to gear, gear is fun. It's like having a favorite football or baseball team. Past that, don't get lost in the sauce, right? Don't get caught up in all of that. Your camera is still good and it will work fine for a very long time. Okay, so I love the M series, but knew it was coming to an end. But you know what? Here's the thing. If you want more cameras, more angles, stuff like that, you're still gonna be able to find them for dirt cheap, because a lot of people are probably gonna start selling them. moving forward, you're probably going to find a lot of them dirt cheap. That's why I held on to my AC adapters from like my M50. And I don't think I ever got one for the M6 one or whatever, but either way, it's like, it'll be fine. It'll be all right. I promise. So I love my R6, but it's about to get the M6 as an everyday shooter, but I guess I will hold out a little bit longer. It just really depends. Do you want to get into the better glass that they have, or do you want a daily driver? Even though the A6600 is a better camera, better battery life, more buttons, all the things that I love, when the ZV-1 and the ZV-E10 came out, I was like, this is really cool, because I'll necessarily have to get rid of the ability to have like log profiles if I want to do something, or slow motion recording or whatever, or if you just want to record and keep it simple and easy. So if you're buying a specific piece of camera gear or equipment, as long as your reason is valid for you, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? I've thought about getting the original M6 again, just because that was another one of my favorite cameras. It just didn't make sense at the time. But the M3, the old Canon EOS M3, still one of my favorite cameras to this day. It solves so many problems for me, like moving from DSLR to mirrorless. So that camera has a special place in my heart. I may get one just to have one, because I really love that camera. And personally, it meant a lot to me. I wish I hadn't sold the last one, but who knows? You know, I may get that camera back again. So I see that too. It's showing available 15 minutes ago. Okay, yep, awesome. Saying I was awed as well when I found out that it was in stock. Hey, get you a ZV-10 if you can. Alpha and Omega Canon. You know what, Caleb? We're not discussing this. All right, okay. The one thing about this channel, you are welcome to your opinion, but you are also welcome to be wrong. Okay. If Jesus was a vlogger, he'd use Sony cameras and not Canon. That's going to be a conversation I see we don't get past. Transplant helper, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Saying thank you so much. I just found you a few weeks ago, but now I watch everything you do. Thank you for your help. I am greatly appreciative of that, and welcome to the Glad Gang. Glad that you are here. Everyone give a warm welcome to Transplant Helper. I appreciate you being here. Saying the Alpha and G Master Chronicle. Using the M50. Don't shed a tear. Don't shed a tear. Do not shed a tear. All is well. Don't get lost in the sauce. So here's the thing. Here's one thing I will say. If you do want to talk about potentially getting rid of your stuff, B&H, this is the website that I'm on right now, same place we just looked at. You can sell your gear. Now, I price shop. I literally just sold my, what was it, the 16 to 70 Zeiss F4. Because I'm not using it, and I'm like, I want something else, which is why I'm like, this 70 to 200 G Master looked too good to me, and I'm spoiled now with using it. But you come over here, price shop. So this is what you need to do if you're curious of just what is the value of what you have. If you potentially want to sell it to a store, selling it to a store is going to be quick. Selling it yourself just may be slow, and you got to deal with people. Is it still available? Okay. And then you'll never hear from them again. Or you got eBay scammers like, oh, I could buy it, but don't mail it to that address, mail it to something else, and then I'll send you the money under the rug. And it's like, get out of here. So if we take a look, let's take the, not Sony, still look at the Canon M50. Oh, and FYI, the gear that I have, I did not rent the A7 IV and the 70 to 200. Let me come back on screen real quick, and then we'll come back to this. Those of you that have been, first of all, longtime viewers of the channel, well-wishers, those of you left comments, Sony should send, they hear you. Sony sent this to me. The last time, the A7C, Sony sent this to me. So thank you. We did catch Sony's attention, and I'm grateful. And so we now have a relationship with Sony. So kudos to not just the work that we're doing here on the channel, but those of you that are in the community, thank you. Okay. So, this too, and the new 24 to 70, we're on the list for that, as well as the A7S Mark III or whatever. But these files ain't no joke. You 10-bit forward to them, like, sound cute on camera. Let's see what that SD card talking about. So let's take a look real quick. if you do want to sell your gear and you're curious of what that looks like, most of the y'all are tripod users. And if you are vlogging, you're not like throwing your stuff across the room or whatever. So you're probably taking care of your stuff. So you can mark it as like new. It is based on the rating of the camera. It's not unless you got a chip, a dent or ding or something, whether it impacts the quality of the image or not, or a button is missing, you know, then that's kind of gets weird. Most of the stuff that came in a box, $329. Now here's the difference with price. You like, but I spent $500 for my camera. Yeah, but have you made at least $500 with the camera already from the content that you're doing, and that content maybe bringing you business to your company or brand deals or super chats or something? Like, then you've made the value of that camera already. So $330 is fine. This is without the lens. If you go back up here to Sony, not Sony, Canon M50. Let's take a look if you were doing the Mark II. Well, let's do the, what is it? Where Mark 1 at with the kit lens? Let's do the one with the kit lens so you can see what that looks like. So, and it's different ones based on the package, but let's do the Mark 1 first, and then we'll go to the Mark II and M6 and see what that's talking about. Got all the stuff that came in the box. $280. How is it less with a lens? Somebody's sleeping over there. So that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. If you got the lens, even though it's saying like the graphite version, but that's, I think, the only color it comes in, almost like black. How is it less? Somebody's sleeping. All right, so let's do the Canon M50 Mark II. Again, this is why I say price shop. Let's do just the camera body itself. Not like you want to keep the lens or whatever, but it is what it is. $329, same thing, because it's only a firmware difference between the two. So let's do M50 Mark II with the lens, 15, the white, no, the black. Mark II. Let's say it's like new. It's been sitting on a tripod 99% of the time, all the stuff, a little bit more, $350. So that's what you can expect here with this one. Another one that you could go to is like Adorama is cool. I usually sell my stuff to keh.com, and I just did mpb.com for the first time. I can honestly tell you right now, their stuff is slow, like a month slow. And it was just one item. It wasn't like it was like a box. So it was slow compared to what I'm used to. What did else I say? Canon M6 Mark II. Let's do the EVF viewfinder thing. No, let's just do the M6. This is not the Mark II. We need, guess we're just gonna do the black body only for now. And if you don't see your combination of something that you bought listed, or you don't see your camera listed or something, that means that they're not buying them at the time. So if you can't find your whatever something in the stuff that comes up, that means that they're not buying it. So $370 if you're just selling the M6 Mark II. So unfortunately, but this is one way that you can start going through your stuff and see how much are things costing. But then again, like I said, if you're going to sell it to a store, because you're going out, if you're trying to sell one to a reputable place, and then two, like speed is of the essence. You want to sell it now versus like it being listed for a month and then you trying to see the what's what and all of that song and dance. I don't like that. I just usually sell my stuff back to a store. mpb.com and then keh.com. One thing I will do is try to support other creators. So if I've been watching somebody's channel, if I've gotten value from somebody's channel and they're an affiliate for said XYZ company, I'll go make my purchase through them, or I'll go do something through their brand or their affiliate link. Or if I know the person or close enough to them, I'll send them a DM, be like, hey, can you shoot me an affiliate link for such and such? And I would encourage y'all to do the same. You love a creator, support them, love their work. They helped you with whatever. I don't care who it is or where. Go through their affiliate links to buy your stuff. It makes a difference. It makes a difference. All right, so I'm gonna go to KEH, and they have where you can get an instant quote. Adorama's different. They can give you an estimate of what your stuff might cost, but One thing that they won't do is tell you like for sure what it might cost. Because when I was selling my G85 and my GX8, I think at the time or whatever, it ended up being more costly, or to like the process. It took a while. They got to evaluate it, all this stuff. It was annoying as hell. So I was just like, no, just send it back. I'll sell it someplace else. So I did. So let's do Canon M50 over here on KEH. I really like KEH. So I'd highly recommend. I don't even know if I have a link for them. Let's say the M50 Mark II. Everybody's rating system is different. So just make sure your stuff is according to such and such. 286. Let's add another item. Let's say you got, just so we don't have to keep researching, the original M50 like new minus with charger and all of that. So this one would be 278. Let's take a look at the, which is, like I said, I like to do right now in quotes, Canon M6. They have the original, just do the camera body, and you could probably expect a little bit more if it's with the lens. So this one's 313. So between the two, depending on what you have, quality, again, shop around for who it makes sense. If you're going to sell it to a store, who has the best rate for that gear at the time. And it does change from now to 2 or 3 weeks from now, tomorrow, 3 weeks ago. The pricing of things change based on the market value of what they can expect to sell it for, or what have you, stuff like that. So like I said, Adorama is another one. mpb.com is another one that you can go check stuff out. But at least that way y'all can see what your stuff is potentially going to be sold for, and the like of that. So thank you for answering my question. You're very welcome. So I'll go hit that like button 100%. Appreciate that. Kevin in the building. Appreciate that. Adam's Exploits saying, hi, Dan, I'm blurry already. You mean background? Saying I have 2 Sigma lenses. We'll sell the M50 and get a Sony eventually if China ever gets off lockdown. It's crazy business out here in these digital streets when it comes to gear. But if you have Sony lenses, then you're fine. But you can't go from the Canon. And again, that's why I don't like that they don't make conversion adapters for it. Or maybe it just doesn't make sense electronically. I don't know. But to go from the EFM to the E mount is not possible. So even though they're literally the same size, however, it's not an easy way to convert it. You can send your lens back to Sigma. They do offer that, and they will switch the mount. But it's, the last time I checked, it was the same price as if you honestly just bought a whole new lens. So it depends on what route makes sense best for you. So saying I stumbled onto a guy using a PTZ camera and getting pretty good quality. Depends on the who and the environment. PTZ cameras are fine. It just depends. You know, that's like if you're using a remote, or you're usually like mostly churches and stuff like that, or sometimes events, depending. You got the little camera on the swivel kind of a thing. It's all right. I ain't never really liked it that much. Saying dreaming of a Sony 10-bit APS-C. I think that dream is going to be going on for a while, unfortunately. Advise me if I'm to be able to start my YouTube channel using a phone. I have a 90D Canon. How can I make video qualities like yours for your YouTube channel? Well, I would honestly say use the 90D. You can use the phone, just use the rear facing camera. But if you have the 90D already, again, it's always a lens game. The camera can be as fantastic as you want to. I could take this Sony a7 IV and put the 16-50 kit lens on here, and you're gonna be like, huh? You know, it's like, eh. So, you know, if you have a bang out camera, a good camera, get a good lens for it to kind of help bring out some of that quality. If you want to use your smartphone, use the rear facing camera. But quality is always going to be 1, white balance, 2, diffusion on your lighting. Obviously good audio for sure is a +1 on that one. And then at that point you're looking into the lens It is going to give you a blurry background, stuff like that. Again, I have videos on the channel that can dive more into that specific thing. But again, if you're using your phone, phones look fantastic. Phones are fantastic. And at some point they can get close to what you see on a camera. But if you're trying to get equivalent, again, depending on the phone model also, it's going to dictate what features. You can use a program like some of these smartphone things called, I forgot what it's called. I keep it on the phone, but I don't use it. And I know Luis that's in the chat, Luis knows what I'm probably thinking about from a smartphone. I can't remember what they're called anymore, but it's some good smartphone apps out there that'll help with your camera and all of that. But on the smartphone specifically, here it is, Filmic Pro. Filmic Pro. Filmic Filmic Pro is a good application if you want to really start getting into the specifics. Let me go here, pull this up on the website, and I can show you. But, you know, honestly, if you have the 90D already, you've invested. Use the investment. If you want to use your smartphone, you're going to get the best quality on the rear-facing camera of any smartphone. But this is Filmic Pro. If you're wanting to use this here, what this will do is help to give you some of those similar specific camera settings that you see on your 90D. You'll see the same kind of settings and stuff on your smartphone. So it's good to, if you're going to use your phone, yeah, you can use whatever built-in application, but you can get more customization, more control and stuff like that when you're using this one. And I think this is one of the best out there on the market, period. Of all the stuff, Filmic Pro is the bee's knees Hall of Fame for smartphones. Smartphone content creation is just not my forte. I don't like it personally. It's a waste of time for me. Again, this is my personal opinion. It's a waste of time for me personally, because it's just easier for me to pop on a lens, set the settings, and I'm done, versus trying to make my phone do the thing. So that's why I don't do smartphone content on the channel. I doubt if I ever really will. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. As I said, no, just use Nikon and you're blocked. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. So Adam explains when to buy your Sigma. Okay, y'all having conversations. Saying, wow, that's awesome. Congrats, work's paying off. Indeed, indeed. Saying, congrats on the Sony Connect. Why, thank you, brother Luis. Let's see here. What's up, creative girl of color? Good to see you. Glad that you are here. So I just sold my M6 and the Lumix G1. I believe that's a smaller camera, if I recall. Sony just hits difference. Thanks, Sensei. You're very welcome, Lawrence. Glad to be of service out here in these digital streets. So real quick, I did want to pull this up because I honestly kind of forgot about it when I mentioned it earlier. So this was the image here, and I'll punch in for effect. All right, so this was the one image here, and this is probably gonna come out in the shorts versus a dedicated YouTube video or whatever. This is image 1. Okay, this is image 2. Now, if you are on mobile, I'm on desktop, obviously. If you're on mobile, you click on the image, you'll be able to see the full width thing of both images, so you can see what's on the side, what's on the behind me's, and all of that in the in-betweens. So from image 1 to image number 2, almost zero of you all could pick the right one when it comes to quality for the lens between which one was the A7 IV and which one was the ZV E10. FYI, this was the ZV E10 and this was the A7 IV. And so I shared that on the channel just because to like on the community tab on the channel, for the channel, because most of the time when it comes to quality, I just wanted you all to know, from a $2,500 plus camera to a $600 camera, Sony quality is fantastic. It's fantastic. So you can get great, excellent quality. You can do a lot of the things that you see your favorite creators doing on YouTube. The possibility is there. I showed that when the ZV-E10 came out, before I even had my hands on the camera. Becky and Chris, I love their channel. I love just like to see their whole thing. They're phenomenal. They do a lot of incredible stuff with the A6400. So quality is there. So don't think you have to buy more. You just sometimes need to raise the skill level. That's all it is. It's just as about let me get better in my skills versus keep buying and keep buying and keep buying. But it does help when your camera has a big enough ceiling so that you can keep growing and you're not hitting the ceiling. Ultimately, because I wanted to increase my skill, I wanted the ability. So when a project comes up or when something comes up, I have the possibility to go to that higher level if I want to, whereas regular videos, don't have to stress out about too much. So just quick little thing. Most of y'all, nobody could really tell. Most experienced people is like, I don't know. So what is up, Anurag? Good to see you. Glad that you're here. What website is that? That was that I last showed prior to the photos. That was Filmic Pro, FILMIC, one word, Pro. If you just Google their website, it'll come up. So everything is slow. I ordered socks from Arizona. It's going to take 4 to 8 weeks. Guess it's coming from China. Hopefully not, but who knows? Depends on who the company is. And it's awesome. Congrats. Thank you. Appreciate that. Saying hi, Diana. How are you? Doing fantastic and wonderful. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well also. Saying very nice. I had a so-called friend that never used my Amazon affiliate links. Order almost weekly. Hey, it is what it is. I bought the Sony lens when it was in stock. Okay, or on sale rather. What's up, Cutting Edge TV? Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Let's see, going through the comments real quick. So don't forget audio, lighting, support, music, smart. This is important with every camera. Huge difference if you plug in a smartphone mic versus using the lab. Yeah, we got some stuff coming on that too. Saying I appreciate your answers from Uganda, Kenya. Looking forward to watching your channel. Which software are you using to have double screen? So real quick, this is Ecamm. I don't know if y'all know that. Those of you that are new, if you've been around the block, around the channel, you know. However, when I stream, most of the videos you see, if you see me at the desk, we're using Ecamm Live. So that's what I'm using for today's stream, and honestly every other stream since 2018, minus a few StreamYards in the in-between when I was bringing on guests in 2020. But otherwise, this is what I use Ecamm. You want to get a free trial, go to diana.link/ECAMM and get you a free trial to Ecamm. Actually, did the Ecamm Masterclass, or not even the Ecamm Masterclass, Ecamm Simplified, which is an Ecamm course on getting started. And it's actually on the channel now, so you can see that as well. And we actually talked about it on this week on the podcast. So, yep. Saying Image 2 has reflection in your glasses. Both of them do. So, quick note on that. Like I said, both of them do, because those glasses don't have, it's not like these, they don't have the anti-reflective coating. So that's the keyboard on one side and like something else that was on the desk or whatever. So both images have a reflection. That has nothing to do with the camera. It's just those particular sets of glasses, which are these. I can put them on right now. Reflections. That's the only thing. Anti-reflective coating. Did a video on that. So it's not, lenses is not, or my lenses on my glasses, both of them do. See that one there? Keyboard's still there. I just so happen to have my head turned when I was reaching for the button. So that's not a clear identifier either. So, so I'm getting plus size women clothing added to your phone on YouTube. I don't know what that means, but OBKB. So, all right. So our quick live stream, almost at an hour, almost right at the sweet spot. So I'm gonna call it there. Appreciate you guys for being here and for joining the stream. A lot of great things coming on the channel as far as video content and the like. If you all have questions, even after the live stream, feel free to put those down in the description down below. But thank you for your time, your attention, for being here with me. And I hope that you enjoyed this week's Friday live, that we don't do a weekly stream anymore. But if we do, like I said, you see it on the community tab and then it'll get scheduled, and here we are. So with that, guys, with passion, I will see you on the next video here on the channel. Peace out, y'all.